With me, some of our regulars who help us make sense of what the papers say. We have a journalist, Charles Ideho, in the studio, as well as another journalist and public affairs analyst, Ambrose Igboke. Gentlemen, good morning.
Good morning.
Nice to see you.
Thank you.
Very good. It's the D-Day today at the National Assembly. Okay, let's head into the papers now. Daily Trust is our first point of call. Intrigues as Senate President, House Speaker emerged today. That's a Daily Trust. That's where we're starting from now. Buhari to APC members, respect party's decision. PDP strategizes against ruling party's candidates. You can find that on Daily Trust. Okay. From there now, let's go to the Vanguard. Vanguard is our next paper now. 9th Assembly, fresh twist as court orders open ballot. Fresh twist as court orders open ballot. Okay, we'll wait to see how that plays out today. That's the Vanguard. From there, let's go to the Nigerian News Direct. News Direct says 9th Assembly, Ndume, Bago Kalu Gaya, others shun APC's seal deal meeting as PDP endorses Ndume and Bago. Okay, you can find that on the front page of the News Direct. Let's go to the Daily Sun now. Lawan versus Ndume. The 0 hour is coming. And court orders open ballot as APC governors direct lawmakers to support Lawan for Senate President, Gbajabiamila for speakership. PDP lawmakers boast of having deciding votes. Okay, you can find that on the front page of the Daily Sun this morning. All right. The Tribune is next now. The Nigerian Tribune is next. Lawan's camp cries out. 2015 Senate rule illegal, not fit for 9th National Assembly. And security beefed up at complex. APC, PDP senators in marathon meetings. And Kalu Gaya spit fire over endorsements of Omagege as Deputy Senate President. Full dictatorship brewing. Secondus is saying that. You can find all of that on the front page of the Nigerian Tribune. Okay, let's go now to the Blueprint. Blueprint is our next paper now. Security beefed up ahead of National Assembly inauguration. Ndume, Gaya, Kalu on their own. APC governors saying that. Restate support for Lawan, Gbajabiamila. And Lawan will be crowned today. Spokesman is saying that. And governor's party's position supreme. Senator-elect Oriolo was saying that. Okay. Oriolo is saying that. Okay, and then we have the Guardian, which is the last paper now. Fresh pressure as Buhari signs bill declaring June 12 Democracy Day. And Nadeko Afenifere want Abiola declared president-elect, and only federal government can determine that, says Tinubu. And posthumous privileges no longer necessary, Oshoba insists. Okay, gentlemen, the controversy as to whether it should be an open ballot or secret ballot system of voting at the National Assembly, a court has ruled now, so it seems like it's going to be an open ballot. But some analysts have said that the other two arms of government, the executive and the judiciary, should allow the National Assembly run their affair the way it's supposed, because that has to do with the internal affair of the National Assembly. I wonder what Charles, let me start with you on this.
Well, it's I think we're heading for a regime where, for instance, you could hardly separate the one from the other, because when you look at the interest of the presidency, you look at it, what you want to even find most intriguing is the interest of state governors. Well, now they even had a meeting yesterday that has to do with the issue of the election of the principal officers of the National Assembly. That's an arm that is separate from the executive. I don't know what the state, this state, I don't know whatever is becoming their own interest there. I do understand they are also stakeholders, but it is not of their immediate interest. Now, the National Assembly, they have their own rules that guides their activities and everything they do. So I don't know exactly how court will now, the third term will now also now be badly. For me, I think it's meddlesomeness. If they choose to use open ballot or secret ballot, it should be their affair. Look at the election of just Speaker and the, what's the name, the SP and all that. It seems as if we are going to war. Why must every election in Nigeria, whether it's the local government election, why must it be as if we are going to war? Why?
All right. We pray we don't go to war. Well, Ambrose, the point there is, as it is right now, there is no law that says that, or that recognizes what the party should decide as to what the leadership of the National Assembly is when it comes to the Constitution, in as much as the political party produces the government, but when it comes to the Constitution, it specifies that from among senators, they will elect leaders for themselves. There is also no law that says that the ruling party must produce the leadership of the National Assembly and all of that, as the case may be. Yes. Now, when you consider all of this and you see the push and all of the forces from left, right, and center, how do you reconcile all of this?
The APC sometimes they are so immature in the way they play their politics.
Why would you say immature? If
Because
that's the choice, if that's the way they want to play it,
they are not. They have a right to want to go the way they want it.
But
the way they are going about it is what I say is immature.
But is there a benchmark to say, okay, fine, this is mature and this is not mature?
Well, is it immature or
you are entitled to your
opinion. As an informed person and an analyst, I'm entitled to it because I read the trends and dissect and distill the actions. So what we are saying is that every party, I mean, we are seeing what the Tory party is doing in the UK. Everybody, you know, even the conservative Democrat issue in the US. So every party has a right to want to happening in the legislature. After all, they are made up of their party members too. But what we are now saying is that the kind of busybody that is going on, the kind of inflammatory statements, the kind of grandstanding that is going on is what makes it so immature. I've always maintained there are ways to exert your influence, but without these bragado actions. Why not just go underground, do lobby? So the same way they are treating the executive issues, where they do the abracadabra, come tell us, oh, the security issue is from the foreigners, this EFCC will do press briefing before they go to do investigation, and when they go to court, there's nothing to convince the people they have already convicted in the media. Things don't work that way. So there should be more diligence in prosecution of your actions. And that is what we are not saying. So then the court, who went to court? Is it not the same party that went to court to say, so where is the electronic system of voting in the National Assembly, where even when they are voting for, although now they have turned it, in the 8th Assembly turned it to a joke, say I, no I, but there is electronic voting where people can even vote for.
Point a key.
Or you point a key and say, this is the person I support, you don't know who pressed it. I think that's what we should be talking about now. And then the court telling them which one should be used or not. I think it's meddlesome, as Charles said. So for today, election is war, Charles, in this country. That is what the politicians believe, and they have voiced it
It is
out.
even said that politics is conflict resolution. So if it is conflict resolution,
are they resolve, or they are creating more conflict?
It's the process of conflict resolution. It
No,
decides who gets what, when, and how.
In Nigeria, it's conflict conflagration. It increases.
No, but Charles, the point there is, Senator Ali Ndume is a member of the APC.
That's right.
The APC has taken a stand to say, okay, this is what all our members, this is the direction all of us should go. And he said, no, I don't want to go there. I want to go my own way. And he has his own supporters depending on how you want to see it. Yes. Would you consider that as anti-party?
No, I wouldn't. I would, even though some of us who are not politicians, openly politicians, anyway, let me also add that one. I've always said that it is very, very necessary for the party to have a modicum, if you will, of influence in who emerges, but not this overbearing influence. Because we must separate it from modicum influence and then overbearing influence. Ali Ndume is a member of the party. The party says, okay, you queue behind our aspiration, queue behind our decision. But he is saying that APC, the price itself of arbiter of democracy, it seems as if it's now want to make it as if there's no democracy in the choice of who leads. He has a right. He is qualified. He is a ranking senator. So why don't you throw it open and let him also try? If he fails, he knows he fails at the polls. So I don't think for me that it's not antipathy.
All right. Ambrose, do you consider the choice of Ahmed Lawan as an imposition of candidates on the others?
Why it may not be an imposition, the party is making it look like an imposition.
Okay.
Because they have a right to actually want to influence. But what we are now saying is that, okay, before you even become governor, within the party, you do a primary so that people will emerge. True. Now, why didn't you just do a mock primary within your members? Okay, 5 members want to contest.
Since it's been zoned to the northeast.
Yes, exactly.
5 of you want to contest, come.
Okay.
You come to the party secretariat, invite some of the National Working Committee members, and then do a mock primary. And shortlist it to like 2 people or 3. Then you say, okay, all of you go in. Then behind the scene, party leadership, you lobby for the person you want to come in. But yeah, all this primary, secondary school bragado kind of.
So very quickly add this one. In Plateau State House of Assembly, the splashing was zoned to Plateau North. About 8 people emerged. But you see, and they all came and contested until this the first time I won. So, and that's how it's supposed to. And the APC, I'm talking about APC. So why don't they also copy and paste that at the national level?
All right, we wait to see. It's just a few hours to the
clock is ticking.
The clock is ticking. It's just a few hours to the time now. We'll wait to see how things are going to play out. Yes. Ambrose Igboke, thank you very much for coming.
Thank you,
Charles Ideho, thank you so much.
Right. We'll take a look at stories making the headlines on the pages of the Nigerian newspapers. I have with me in the studio a journalist, Charles Ideho, and public relations consultant, Ambrose Igboke. Gentlemen, thank you for coming on TVC Breakfast.
Thank you very much.
All right, let's head straight to the papers, and I start with the Daily Sun. Lawan versus Ndume, the 0 hour. Court orders open ballots as APC governors direct lawmakers to support Lawan for Senate President, Gbajabiamila for speakership. PDP lawmakers boast of having deciding votes. And to the Nigerian Tribune, Lawan's camp cries out 2015 Senate rule illegal, not fit for night NAS. Security beefed up at complex, APC PDP senators in marathon meetings. Kalu Gaya spit fire over endorsement of Omar Agege as Deputy Senate President, full dictatorship brewing secondus. To the Daily Trust now, intrigues as Senate President, House Speaker emerged today. Buhari to APC members, respect party's decision, PDP strategies against ruling party's candidate. And to the Village News, probe Amosun Ogun indigents urge Prince Dakbo Abiodun Commission on Violence during 2019 pre-post election demanded. To the front page of the Blueprint, security beefed up ahead of National Assembly inauguration. Ndume, Gaya, Kalu on their own. APC governors restate support for Lawan Gbajabiamila. Lawan be crowned today. Spokesman, Governor's Party's position, Supreme Senator-elect Oriolowo. Well, to the front page of The Guardian, a fresh pressure as Buhari signs bill declaring June the 12th Democracy Day. Nadeku Afenifere wants Abiola declared president-elect. Only federal government can determine that, says Tinubu. Posthumous privileges no longer necessary, Oshobara insists. To the front page of the Vanguard now, Night National Assembly, fresh twists as court orders open ballot. And finally, on the front page of Nigeria News Direct, Night Assembly in the May Bago Kalu Gaya others shun APC's seal deal meeting as PDP endorses Ndume. Well, the focus on most of the head papers this morning is basically on the Ninth Assembly, but then we'll also be looking at 25 years after the Ekwetedu Declaration, gentlemen. You remember that 25 years ago that Chief MKO Abiola declared himself president at Ekwetedu here in Lagos, on Lagos Island. Yes. And, you know, this is 25 years on. The declaration he made, how significant is that declaration? I'll start with you, Charles.
Well, first of all, let me tie it to the recognition of that day, that's June 12th, but though he did it on June 11th. Yes. Then the following day is actually June 12, which, of course, in 1993, the election took place where Nigeria, irrespective of religion, irrespective of ethnic divide, everybody, not everybody anyway, most people voted for Abiola, of what has come down today to now be known as June 12th, which is a date in the annals that has become official as we speak. No, it's still very relevant because it is the June 12th that ushered in the democracy that we are enjoying today, even as journalists. Remember during the military junta, there's no way some of us can be on TV like this to be talking the way we are talking. Because after finishing talking, you know that there may be some men waiting for you over there to whisk you away. But today now we have freedom.
Just
today
as he was whisked away immediately after he
just
did the
was whisked away,
declaration.
exactly, too, you know.
Guerrilla journalism.
Exactly. So, but today now we are enjoying civil rule. A lot of people might say we still are not enjoying democracy because of this issue of nomenclature or semantics. But at least we are enjoying civil rule, whether it's democracy or not. So it was Abiola that the significant of that brought about this today, because when he stood the election, for the first time we're having a Muslim ticket. Nobody ever cared, but we just knew that we had somebody who would be able to deliver the goods, and that's why, irrespective of religion,
but despite all of this,
yes,
in the person of Abiola, MK Abiola,
yes,
was he right to have declared himself president?
Well, you couldn't say whether yes and no.
Okay.
Yes, because there was a mandate, okay, which was freely given to him by Nigerians.
But hasn't
which,
been...
of course, even the military that said he was not qualified, the military wouldn't elect them. They were there, they were illegally occupying the office, if you want to look at it. Because Nigeria is a product of laws. Even the when they came in...
But NEC at the time had not declared him president.
Well, but again, but it was already winning, it was already costing home.
It was
the same military,
home.
it was the same military that said that occupied the office illegally, that stopped what ought to have been illegal.
All right, Ambrose, what was it right for him to have declared himself as president?
What do you think? Third is what you need to be declared president, and at that point,
but that declaration had not been made.
No,
they have announced 14 states.
14 states,
yes,
out of 21 states.
So that's victory.
So it's, well, if we have to calculate it, he has already won. So that's why they insisted that this man is president in waiting, because according to the constitutional provision, he has won the election. And then the call came. But I think in all this celebration of June 12th, we are forgetting something. We are forgetting a very important personality that played a key role there. And that person is the person of Professor Humphrey Nwosu. Professor Humphrey Nwosu was the, was it?
NEC, it was NEC.
National Electoral Commission then.
NEC.
He was an umpire then that conducted and midwifed that election.
Of course.
And he used the what was suitable for the reality of that time, option A4, to be able to people queue behind your content, and then you voted, and
the
without fear of
open
ballot system, we're queuing behind option A4. And even in the midst of brutality, in the midst of, he was not allowed to announce that result. He was brutalized when he went ahead to announce it. The military boys came, dragged him, brutalized him, beat him up. In fact, he never recovered from that gruesome beating. That is the kind of political umpires that, sided with the people and not with the ruling class. But what we have today, and that is why some of us have the hammer on people like Professor Mahmoud, who is the current INEC chairman, because we will say we have been given everything you need for an election, and you have been given the free hand. When you fail to deliver some things, we will forgive you. Because somebody like Professor Humphrey Nwosu was not even allowed to announce the result, but he went ahead and announced it. And he bore the consequences. So we should also celebrate his bravery in this, while we are talking about June 12th. Now, the Ekpetedo declaration. Some people said that, why did Abiola wait for 1 year?
Before doing that.
Before doing that. That the mandate has already been given. As at, June ended, the result was already, it was clear that he was the winner. That they expected him to have just gone ahead and announced it while it was still hot. That law allowed the military to consolidate hold by, the Professional Ruling Council.
What would have been different if he had...
AFRC left, Armed Forces Ruling Council, and then when Babangida was forced to...
What would have been different if he had made that pronunciation early?
Some pundits are saying that it would have revved more, power at that point, because the people would have been able to mobilize more and resist more. Just because immediately that was annulled, there was a lot of riots and a lot of things took place. That if he had stayed, but some people argue on the other side that it could have been suicidal, because it would have as well been eliminated. you know, if
Immediately.
so there are two schools to decide, but that when you go for 1 year and he came back to do that Ekpetedo declaration in
And so
June
but
11,
this-
1994.
But some have
were
also
factors.
said that perhaps he was inspired by, he went to South Africa. It was when he returned from South Africa from the inauguration of Nelson Mandela,
Nelson
that
Mandela,
he returned and made this declaration.
yes.
Perhaps he was inspired
He was
by
inspired.
that.
Then when I say
Exactly.
what happened in the 1 year, why was he not inspired by the vote Nigeria?
There were
challenges.
factors. There were factors responsible for the delay in that. Of course, I really won't blame him. The reason is simple, because he had supporters. You also remember that you had Nadekwas at that time.
Yes.
You also had some people who were telling him, I mean, what's his name? MKO was not a politician. So he was relying on the advice of people who were state players, who were also state actors and political actors, who were telling him all this one. Somebody who was coming to the fray, I mean, you were telling, no, don't do that. And he relied on them. There was this multiplication of voices or bubble of voices. Some would say do this, some would say even he's leaving Nigeria, he would flee Nigeria. He was also advised to do that, okay? Because he wanted to remain, to say, okay, if he died, he died. But some people say no. If you died, then there won't be an Abiola to lead us into the political Eldorado we were all clamoring for. So it was based on those factors that made him to leave, and then there was a delay in that declaration. But until he then went to South Africa, then he became emboldened. And then he came back, and then he became the Abiola we wanted. And then he did that. Of course, you know what, the flow of activity that happened up to that June 23 and so on, and then before he died. Well, I really wouldn't blame him because of the bubble of voices that, of course, he was listening to.
Before we go
Quickly,
on this,
quickly.
I want to bring out the point that most of those politicians that accompanied Abiola to the Ekpetedo declaration, where he declared himself president, and then Abiola was arrested immediately. The same people, in a few months' time, went to collect ministerial appointments from the junta of Sani Abacha.
And
that shows that politicians should be
sincere,
very careful by the kind of people that surround them too.
And there was the people
It's a warning.
So
It's a warning.
It's a warning.
I mean, well, I'm sure they are listening, and then they'll be taking to this warnings that you have just made. Thank you, gentlemen, for your contribution on the newspaper review.
Gentlemen, it's nice to have you join us right now.
Yes.
Okay, let's begin with the Daily Sun. The Daily Sun is where we begin from. Lawan versus Ndume, the 0 hour. All right, the 0 hour is closing in now. Court orders open ballot as APC governors direct lawmakers to support Lawan for Senate President, Gbajabiamila for speakership. The PDP lawmakers boast of having deciding votes. You can find that on the front page of the Daily Sun. Okay, from there, let's go to the Nigerian Tribune. Tribune is the next one. Lawan's camp cries out. 2015 Senate rule illegal, not fit for 9th Assembly. Security beefed up at complex, and APC PDP senators in marathon meetings. Kalu Gaya spitfire over endorsement of Omagigi as deputy Senate president. And the full dictatorship brewing, Secondus is saying that. You can find that on the front page of the Nigerian Tribune. All right, now next is the Daily Trust. Intrigues as Senate President, House Speaker emerged today. Buhari to APC members, respect party's decision. PDP strategizes against ruling party's candidates. Okay, you can find that on the front page of the Daily Trust. From there, let's move to a little more grassroots. The Village News. The Village News is the next one now, and it says, probe Amosun. Ogun indigenes urge Prince Dakbo Abiodun. Commission on Violence during 2019 pre-post-election demanded. Okay, you will find that on the front page of the Village News. That's drawing in closer to the grassroots. From there, let's go to the Blueprint. The Blueprint said security beefed up ahead of National Assembly inauguration. Ndume, Gaya, Kalu on their own, APC governors are saying that. Restate support for Lawan Gbajabiamila, and Lawan will be crowned today. Spokesman is saying that. And governor's party's position is supreme. Senator-elect Oriolowo is saying that. Okay, from the Blueprint, let's go to The Guardian. Fresh pressure as Buhari signs bill declaring June 12 Democracy Day. And Ideho Afenifere want Abiola declared president-elect. Only federal government can determine that, says Tinubu. And posthumous privileges no longer necessary, Oshoba insists. Okay. From The Guardian, let's go to The Vanguard. The Vanguard is saying 9th National Assembly, fresh twist as court orders open ballot. Fresh twist as court opens orders open ballot. You can find that on the front page of the Vanguard. Okay, the News Direct is the last one now for this morning. 9th Assembly, Ndume, Bago Kalu Gaya, others shun APC's seal deal meeting as PDP endorses Ndume Bago. All right, you can find that all on the News Direct. Okay, gentlemen, it's just a few hours now to the deciding point, yes. And
to the 0 hour.
If you can put a thermometer into the National Assembly now, 1,000 degrees, you may say, but it's still quite interesting, yeah. I must say. But if we have to, you know, look forward, project into what should be like, Nigerians at the end of the day will say, well, it doesn't matter whoever emerges. As far as the person is, one, a Nigerian. Number two, he won election into the National Assembly. Number three, he's a bona fide member of the National Assembly. All they want is social amenities and all of those that is being promised them. But what do you think is one of the priorities ahead as an assignment before the next National Assembly? Ambrose, let me start with you on this.
Well, the first assignment for the National Assembly is to look at the laws that are prohibiting the progress of this country. In the space of security, for example, we have talked about state police and how the architecture of the security can be rejiggled. We have talked about fiscal federalism, how some economic powers can devolve from the center to the component states. How, for example, the mining rights of solid minerals can be devolved to the states for them to have the power. They should make those bills, for example.
That's reducing items on the exclusive legislative list.
Especially in terms of economic empowerment of the component states. Right. And then one of the things that we should challenge this 9th Assembly to do is the issue of taking care of our public institutions, especially the health institution and education institution. What this means is that they should promulgate law, and it's Nigerians that will force them to do that because they won't do it because they are beneficiaries of the decaying system, where once you have accepted to take public office, be it as an elected official or as an appointee, you have to forgo some certain individual rights, one of which is that you must start using public hospitals and your children must attend public schools. If you know that you cannot do that, then don't collect public office. Because it's only when we force those kind of things that the politicians will now start taking the renovation, the resuscitation of our public institutions seriously. And that is one. And then also, the National Assembly should look at the welfare of Nigerians instead of enacting laws, especially in terms of the mortgage laws, that, you know, although there are a lot of reform there, but mortgage laws should be improved so that Nigeria can have access to housing. All
right, Charles, from what Ambrose has said, do you think the National Assembly members are independent enough, even if they have the mind and the will to come up with, you know, those kind of reforms to transform Nigeria? Because look at the the build up to the election. You see the influence of governors. You see the influence of other eminent Nigerians. Do you think they have that independence of thought and will to come up with that?
Sadly, no. The answer is no, and that's sad. That's why I say sad. You expect that they should first of all, who are they? They are representatives of the people. Since
ideally,
yes, since we are no longer practicing the Greek city-state, where all of us are together at the village square,
at the collusion,
we gather at the village square to now decide our own destiny, collective destiny in the village, and also we can. I mean, we've gone beyond that. So that's why we now select the very best. It may not be the very best, but people we believe can represent our voices, can represent our aspirations. So they should carry our message over the board. What do we have now? There are people who rather pander to the godfathers, not instead of pandering to those people they represent. So that's why I said they are not independent, because if you look at it, most of the elections that they prosecute, that take them there, they are sponsored by godfathers. They are sponsored by people who lend them some money, you know, investing money. So politics has become investment. So those who invest into their aspirations,
but isn't that how it is anywhere in the world? Isn't that how it is even in the
okay,
United
but
States,
no,
even in
but
Britain,
here,
and so on?
my
There are people who have the funds who are
yeah,
going
but
to roll out.
we can go back to the past, not too distant past. In the UPN, NPN days, some of us were still in school there, maybe secondary school and so on, but we're not too young to understand that it was the party that sponsored candidates. So when the party sponsored candidates collectively, there was no single individual who could be the be-all and end-all. Okay, so it was that time you could easily pander to the needs of the people, because the party knew that if you didn't do that, you were going to face the people at the polls.
Maybe that was when our political system was still a virgin. We didn't really know anything.
Couldn't we go back there? Is it too late in the day to go back?
Let me ask that question to Ambrose. Is it too late to go back? Or can we go back again, or we've gone past that? Or that boat has sailed?
For us, there's nothing too late. It becomes too late when we don't react as a people. And the politicians keep misbehaving because we don't react as a people. Right. For example, when this 8th National Assembly, there was never a time we picketed the National Assembly, Nigerian citizens. There was never a time the governor's office or lodge was picketed. Houses of assembly were not picketed.
Yeah, but if you talk about picketing...
it's the right of the people.
Yeah, but the point there is that the modern manner it will be done could lead to chaos.
The issue is that...
But have we tried it?
We are not animals, so we can run out, we can control ourselves.
All right.
Look at what's happening in Hong Kong. About 1 million people on the street. Can we do that here?
Anyway, we are still developing.
Hong Kong is developed.
It's okay.
After nearly 60 years of nationhood.
Let's leave it here now. Thank you very much, Charles Ideho, for coming on the program. Ambrose Igboke, thank you so much for coming as well. Thank you. All right, you're watching TVC Breakfast, and we're streaming live on YouTube, and you can connect with us on Twitter using the hashtag TVC Breakfast. Still to come on the show.